What's going on, YouTube? Eric Bauer, back again. Another YouTube video. In the annals of all YouTube videos, this is the video that you decided to click on. I know it's a little bit later than I had actually intended to have my next upload. And a few things in the works, and I don't know. Just kind of got sapped for motivation, inspiration. You know, the usual 2020 shit. But yeah, I'm back. I'm back for you with another video that I'm sure you were just dying to see. This was just straight up collection update. I haven't done one of these in a really long time, and I figured, why not? I've accumulated some more shit. So here we go. We're gonna talk about some records, some tapes, some 45s that I've picked up and acquired. Since lockdown, really. I did the one quarantine flex a few videos back, which was a lot of just kind of like randomness, a lot of thrash, a lot of punk, some metal. This is mostly punk shit, and that's just what I've been in the mood for lately. I've got a whole other collection update ready to go after this one's done. And in that one, in the next video, I will have worked out all of the details for the 2,000 subscribers contest. Yes, 2,000 subs. 2,000 of you, over 2,000 at this point, have opted to punish yourselves by subscribing to my channel. I thank you, YouTube. You're great. In the background, if you can hear it, hopefully it's not too loud. It's that Vex record. Fucking awesome. Let's just jump right into it. I don't have any notes taken down or anything. So this is just kind of like off the cuff fucking nonsense. We're going to start with the tapes, I guess. I'm not going to spend much time on a lot of these, but you got Fear, the record, cassette on Slash. Nothing really to see in the J card. I'm not even going to bother pulling it out, but you see that Slash logo? That's a symbol of quality back in the day. I haven't owned this on anything other than like a shitty old ass fucking CD in forever. The wax is a little, I don't want to say it's unattainable, but it's not cheap. And this happened to come up at one of my local shops. I snagged it. Fear, fucking, I love this record. More Beer, the second record, is pretty good. I mean, to be fair, it's basically like this, like quite a bit. This has all the good shit on it. Let's Have a War. Fucking, I Don't Care About You, Fuck You. New York's Alright. That's probably my favorite track on here is New York's Alright. We Destroy the Family. I mean, every fucking track on here is classic. Awesome shit. Stoked to have it. Another tape picked up. Dead Kennedys and God We Trust Incorporated. Now, did I need another copy of In God We Trust Incorporated on a different format? Nah, probably not. But this is one of my favorites. And I love the Dead Kennedys a lot, and so you know, did the math, picked it up. Alternative Tentacles, Jello Biafra, East Bay Ray, Klaus Fluoride, you know the story. Fucking this band is essential. They released probably my favorite American hardcore record of all time, and Fresh Fruit for Rotting Vegetables. Fucking outstanding debut. This is no slouch either. You've got Religious Vomit, Moral Majority, Hyperactive Child, Nazi Punks Fuck Off is on here, Course, Dog Bite, Keepone Factory. This fucking album just smokes. It's essential. Essential. Exploited, Troops of Tomorrow. Again, did I need a cassette copy of Troops of Tomorrow when I've got it on CD and vinyl? Nah, but again, I saw it. It was cheap. I grabbed it. I love the Exploited during this era. This is a weird reissue on Grand Slam Records. It's like from the 90s. It's got a little write-up on the Exploited in here. This album, it's not my favorite Exploited record, but it's definitely up there. It's got, you know, Jimmy Doyle, Daily News, Disorder, infamously covered by Ice-T and Slayer, as well as War, also covered by Ice-T and Slayer in that same medley. Sid Vicious Was Innocent. UK82, the track that coined the phrase to describe an entire movement of punk rock out of the UK around 1982. This fucking album is killer. It's killer. Fucking killer. Virulence. If This Isn't a Dream on Alchemy. Alchemy was a great label. Really just kind of like a mixed bag. I mean, they really shipped by like the Melvins and Neurosis. But they also released some thrash like Paranoia and a few other bands of that ilk. Virulence was like a crossover band from SoCal or the Bay Area. There's a band. Probably most notably, Virulence is the band that would go on to become the stoner rock legends Fu Manchu. This album sounds nothing like Fu Manchu, so if you're expecting that as a point of reference, you're going to be a little bit disappointed. This stuff is just, it's fast, it's polished, it's tight, metallic punk, crossover. It's a hard sound to really pigeonhole. I mean, it sounds like that cover art, for lack of a better way to describe it, and it's killer. It's fucking killer. And the last tape we're going to talk about today is another essential, and I mean essential, purchase. I did not have this on any format previously, and I've been on the lookout for a copy of this on this format for a while, and it doesn't come up very often. So I saw it come up, and I had to snag it. I'm talking about the third best Blast record, Take the Manic Ride. Don't let this artwork fool you. This album is killer. Some of the best Southern Californian American hardcore, not just of its time, but for my money, of all time. This album, I mean, I love all three Blast records, including the comeback shit. I put this up there with like Slip It In and My War and Damaged any day of the week. This album is vitriolic. It is fast. It's manic. It's fucking killer. It's fucking killer. This is an original on SST. Just a fucking awesome band that doesn't get their due. They're so often just kind of like written off as Black Flag clones. And I can see that to a degree, but I don't think it's fully accurate. They definitely came into kind of their own energy and their own sound, especially on this record. It's another one. It's fucking essential. So good. Just killer shit. Alright, let's talk about some 45s. Last Friday was Record Store Day. And there were a few titles that I wanted, but I kind of let them go. But I did pick up one, and it's one that I've kind of been after again for a while. And I don't think the originals are super expensive or super spendy, but I just snagged the fucking Dicks. Hate the Police. Hate the Police. Fucking pretty infamous song. But it's also been covered by like Mudhoney. One of their most well-known, most recognizable tracks. Mommy, 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 look at your son. Yeah, that fucking track. It's killer. And it pretty well ensconces my feeling about the 5-0. This was put up by 1234 Go Records. I think, I want to say. And they basically just did a full-on duplication of the original release. And it's really well done. It's really, really lovingly put together. A lot of attention to detail on here. Multicolored 7-inch. You got those fucking socialist colors, man. Dicks were all about that. Love, love, love this EP. It's not my favorite material by the Dicks. That would definitely be Kill from the Heart, which is essential American hardcore. If you haven't heard Kill from the Heart, stop watching me. Go check out that album. It's absolutely mandatory. Next 45. The Fix with their Vengeance and In This Town single. The Fix were... I don't really know much about this band, to be totally honest. They came up with like the Necros, but they were a little bit... I don't know. Were they more brutal? This is really punishing, really surging, hardcore. It's like if you took a band like, say, Discharge, and played it over like an American hardcore filter during the same era, that's what you would get with this EP. Again, this is a boot, one of 200 apparently, which is pretty crazy. I didn't realize that when I bought it. It wasn't expensive, and it's killer. It's absolutely just vital, crucial hardcore, and I love. Came with the big hole. I love 45s with the big hole. This takes me back. This stuff is awesome. There's a full length that compiles all of their singles. They never put out an actual proper full length, to my knowledge. This stuff's awesome. I wish that it was a band I had bothered to check out sooner. As ignorant as it might sound, I always just kind of like confused this band with The Fix with 2 X's, famous for Reach the Beach. It's not the same band, not at all. Flower Leopards with their really only mandatory release, this 45 on Mystic Records. Flower Leopards were an hardcore band. I mean, they came up in the same area as like Dr. No and fucking Ill Repute and Stalag 13. They didn't really have that same sound though. Flower Leopards, or Leopards, Flower Leopards, they were, they had a lot of death rock influence. They were a hardcore band, but they also slowed it down and got real moody, and real doomy and gloomy. This album is just awesome. It's 4 tracks. There's even a cover on here of Alice Cooper's I'm 18, and it's a good cover. I've got no complaints about it being on here. It fits the rest of this album perfectly as far as the ebb and flow of the side A and the side B. Just killer. Killer album. Kind of hard to come by these days, but if you see it, I would say snag it. You won't regret it. If you're into anything that I just kind of talked about in terms of the Flower Leopards, it's fucking just killer shit. And then the last, oh my god, Jesus. Reese leaving on camera? Yeah, I still do it. What are you gonna do about it? I dropped one. Real nice. Oh, and the A side for this shit fucking ended, so I guess I'm going too slow. So the next record we're going to talk about is another reissue with a download code that just fell out. I hope you didn't see that. I actually plan to use that. Cause for Alarm, with probably one of the most notoriously incredible EPs ever in hardcore. I don't know. For me, it's up there with like Uniform Choice, Easy, Wrecking Crew, that type of shit. Agnostic Front, Sick of It All. And this album just fucking smokes. It's crushing. It's brutal. It's everything you want out of like a New York hardcore band. Incredible inside art. Like, look at that. Look at that face. Took me like 3 hours to shade the nostrils. Yeah, this was reissued by Victory Records. Who are just like, whatever, it's Victory Records. I don't follow the drama, so I can't really spill the tea. But I do know that a lot of people are incensed with Victory and have been for some time. All I know is that this album rules. It's killer. I feel like if I were to talk about it, I'd probably not do, really bring its just due to light. At least not any better than somebody like Pat Ground Zero Salem or Jason Hook could, as far as this album's concerned. Just it's essential. And then kind of like a weird one for this update, Antipasti with 6 Guns. This is a great fucking EP. It's also up sideways. It's like UK82 Oi, engineered by Colin Richardson, who went on to do a lot of work with a lot of fucking UK metal bands through like Peaceville. And he also worked on that fucking Crux split, which I'm fairly sure I've talked about. Essential Oi, UK82. This is from 81, Rondelay Records, and it's awesome. It's super energetic. It still has like kind of like almost like a 77 sort of feel to it, which I really love about it. I'm not gonna take the record out, but the inners are cool. Just that old school shit that kind of wins me over in one of those, in like a weird nostalgic way. At this point, most of the music listening that I do is out of sheer nostalgia. So that said about Antipasti, we're done with the tapes and the 45s. We can move on to talk about some fucking LPs. So let's do that right now. But first, I'm going to flip the record. And you get to watch. How cool is that? Oh yeah, here we go. Oh. Get to my age, you just don't really care where the needle falls as long as it's somewhere around the beginning. Anyway, let's talk about LPs. I got a stack. But real quick, I'm going to do some reorganization here. I got shit balanced so precariously, it makes the playing card tower look stable and secure. The Jeff Dahl Group, scratch up some action. Awesome garage punk. Jeff Dahl, kind of infamous in the punk scene. Got his start with Angry Samoans. He's done music with Gigi Allen, Cheetah Chrome from the Dead Boys. Is a common collaborator back in the day with Jeff Dahl projects. I want to say he actually helped pen some of the tracks on this album. This is Jeff Dahl Group's second record, following Vomit Wet Kiss, which is another just outstanding fucking record. This was released by Dog Meat on a very nice translucent wax. What was the year of this? This came out 1989. It's an OG, and it rules, man. It's just garagey, rock and rolly, snotty fucking punk rock. It's got a bunch of covers on here. White Light, White Heat, Two-Headed Dog. It's just a fucking great record. One of my favorites as far as American, just straight up punk rock goes. Jeff Dahl's awesome. He's worked with some Japanese hardcore bands like Teen Generate. He's very prolific. This album is really like where he got his start. Kind of in that vein. I guess not really in that vein, but we've got the Chemical People, sleazy, poppy, American punk rock from Southern California. These guys some of these guys went on to be in Down by Law, who fucking blow. But this album specifically by the Chemical People is fucking killer. It's their second full length, if I'm not mistaken. It's produced by Bill Stevenson of The Descendants, I think. Yeah, it's just great shit. It's super poppy, super fun. It's about like comics, fucking nachos, and pornography. Jenna Fine is on the cover for their first album, so that should give you kind of like an idea of like the tone that Chemical People really kind of aspired to reach on their albums. And this album is no exception. Fucking killer. Got another SoCal band. 3 for 3. Rick Agnew. All by Myself. It's called All by Myself because it's just Rick Agnew all by himself. He plays every instrument. He wrote the whole album with his, I want to say with his brother. I could be wrong about that. This is great. It's, it's not exceptional, but I like it a lot. It's got OC Life, which is probably the most recognizable track on here. It's just SoCal punk. If you like JFA or fucking The Faction, Angry Samoans, Adolescence, which Rick Agnew came from, you'll dig this. It's fucking awesome. It's got like keyboards, which is a little odd, but totally works in the scope of the album. It's fucking awesome. Next up, another fucking SoCal band. TSOL, Dance With Me. This is the reissue from 2018 or 2019 on Dink. Really nice fucking reproduction of the album. Got some awesome gold foil on here. TSOL, I've talked about before on this channel. I talked about them in the last video. Their second album that followed this one. This is just some straight ahead California hardcore. Most famous at the time probably for being on the decline of Western civilization, and I want to say Suburbia, the Penelope Spheris movie. Something's awesome. I picked this up actually at Zion's Gate in Seattle. I was talking to my buddy that works there, and he mentioned something that I never caught. For as long as this album's been a part of my life, I've never noticed that the cover, which is a little bit of a reproduction of the original cover, it's the same image, it's just cleaned up, recolored, I want to say, actually is a repro of a still out of the Universal Frankenstein movie. You'll see it right here because I'm about to flash up a picture of it, which I never knew, and that's a fun little fact because that mood, that atmosphere, and that tone perfectly suits this album. It's so fucking good. Sounds of Laughter is the starting track. Just, one of the most well-known TSOL songs ever, followed by Code Blue. Super, just like, Code Blue is a song that makes you want to take a bath after you hear it because it's so gross, but it's also catchy and fun and insanely rad to just like sing along with. Awesome record. Awesome fucking repress. Stoked on that one. Next one is actually not a US band. Talking about Rocks with Final Assault. Rocks were an Australian punk rock band formed in like the late 70s, 78 or 79. This EP came out in, I'll say like 85 on Waterfront Records, who also put out a lot of Hard-Ons releases. Another great Aussie punk band. One of my favorites, in fact. Hard-Ons, one of the best melodic pop punk bands ever. Comic books, porn, junk food. You know, if you can get past that kind of like topical subject matter, that's what you get with the Hard-Ons. Rocks are a little bit more intense than that. They're not quite as melodic. A bit more raw. I haven't heard the early material, like the 70s shit. I imagine it's probably really akin to like 77 style punk rock or like Ramones type shit, just based off of what this record sounds like. Really fucking great, just straight ahead hardcore. You got 4 cuts on here: Burnout, What I Say, Days Gone By, and Final Assault, the title track. It goes by like that, and it's fucking a blast. The next album, another EP, The Stupids. Now, Pat talked about these guys not too long ago, if I'm not mistaken. This is their Van Stupid LP. Stupids were a UK punk band, really goofy, really obsessed with skateboarding. And on this album, you've got like 2 original songs and then like a remix, like a hip-hop remix of one of the songs on the A side, on the B side. It's a goofy record. It's weird, but it's a lot of fun. And this is probably, like, if you want to get started with the Stupids, this is probably not the album for you to dig, to reach for. I would go with one of their full lengths, but I dig it. I'm a completist. And I love the fucking artwork. Just killer. Just great fucking UK tunage right here. I recommend the Stupids highly. Here's another one. This is another local find, and I was super stoked to find this. Chrome with Third from the Sun. This album's a masterpiece. It's like kind of like one of those no way. Chrome is so hard to define. Like are they noise rock? Were they punk? Were they industrial? Did they have rockabilly leaning? I mean, they had a lot of that stuff going on. Imagine like garage punk filtered through Suicide, and that's kind of what you get with this. But it's a whole lot more than that. It's really just like a very simplistic way to describe what you're going to hear on this. This is probably their best known album. I've got another one of theirs. It's a collection of Chrome stuff from prior to the release of this LP. Came on a very nice red wax. This was a Cleopatra reissue, originally out in 1982. Great record. Chrome is fantastic. I would have no hesitation to recommend them if you like bands like Suicide or Television or like really early Sonic Youth, Lydia Lunch type shit, Nick Cave, like The Birthday Party. Like imagine The Birthday Party but with a drum machine. And Chrome kind of sounds a little like that. They also sound a little bit like this band in certain aspects. Alien Sex Fiend with Who's Been Sleeping in My Brain. Look at that. Look at that artwork. First of all, you've got the skull from the Don't Break the Oath. You got an inflatable doll. You've got the band looking real spruce. This album rules. Just super depraved, like electronic psychobilly. It's like if you made what the Cramps were doing a little bit more mechanized, a little bit more industrial, and a little bit more primitive and lo-fi, you get Alien Sex Fiend. This is their first album, first release, and probably my favorite of theirs. It was put out by Important Music Distribution, and I want to say the year on this. See, I didn't write down any notes. I should have taken some notes, right? Because I usually do. I didn't see fit to do that this time around. This was released by Relativity, 1984. So the Cramps were going strong well before these guys. And to be fair, they're not like a ripoff. They're not really derivative of the Cramps. They kind of just like employ a lot of the same like imagery, the same tone, but they do something totally different and unique with it. And it's Alien Sex Fiend. It fucking rules. And now I got a couple comps to talk about, and we'll try and get through these real quick. The first comp, these are both boots too, I'm pretty sure. We got Godzilla, a Japanese hardcore compilation. Fucking, I love that cover art. And this has 4, like, unattainable EPs. If you don't already have these in your collection and you're not wealthy, you're probably not ever going to have these individual legitimate releases in your collection. You've got Brain Death. You've got Chicken Bowels, yeah. Googleplex and The Clay. This is like one of the high points. This is another one of the high points. This is another one of the high points. And this is another one of the high points. Meaning every fucking cut on this album is a high point. All 4 of these EPs are essential when you're talking about Japanese hardcore. Put them up there with the Stalin or Lip Cream. Hell, Gizm, Disclosed, just as vital. Awesome fucking comp. Love it. And the last thing we're going to talk about today, comp I actually probably like even better than that one, which is Eye of the Thrash Gorilla. And this album, I mean, first look at that lineup. Just every band on here kills. You've got Deathside, SOB, Nightmare, Race King, Crow. And then a 6-band, which is in kanji. I'm not 100% sure. I think it's maybe Tetsuo Rei. I'm not 100% on that. But this album, Raise Cain, one of the most underrated Japanese hardcore bands ever. Burning Spirits, 100%. SOB, infamous SOB, from doing splits with Napalm Death, starting off like what kind of later became grindcore and power violence. Deathside, one of the originators of Burning Spirits hardcore. Crow, just excellent, almost Japanese stadium crust. Got a nice insert that is not in English. This band these bands are just fucking killer. All are essential. Even the band whose name I can't read. Just killer. Killer comp. Another fucking essential if you can find it. These 2 comps I scored in the wild, which even for boots doesn't happen. These things are mint, and it's just awesome to have these tracks on a physical format of some type. So you're not going to hear me complain about that. And that's all I've got. That's it. I will plan to do part 2 of this update probably next week. And at that point in time, I will make my 2,000 subs contest announcement. Now, one of the caveats of that contest is probably going to be that you do a YouTube video in response. And I realize that not all 2,000 of you have YouTube channels. So we'll figure out kind of like additional entry qualifications. I'm still working out the details. What can I say? I've got the prizes mostly picked out, and they're awesome, I think. That said, that's all I've got. Take care, YouTube. Happy holidays. Happy end of the year. Fuck 2020. You tell me. Peace out.